Alrighty, looks like we've got Dark Ages, Hinterlands, and Intrigue. Today, what's happening here? Not much. So the only draw card is Steward, and the only village is Squire. But both of those are weak enough that you're not actually netting any draw. So if you played Squire, Steward, etc., you're never getting larger than a 5 card hand size. And so you can't really build an engine here. You'd be getting 1 coin out of that each time, but that's not really worth pursuing. Just a really awkward peddler. This looks like something resembling big money. Stuff that jumps out to me. Steward is good at trashing. Uh, Not so much at cards, but the trash 2 effect is pretty good in the opening, so probably want to open with Steward and get thin. And then replace looks strong, I think. One of the better remodelers for big money purposes. The curse isn't nothing. And then I think Tunnel looks decent. There's more than one way to trigger it. Cartographer can discard it. Wastes can pitch it from hand. Put some gold from the deck. Replace them into provinces. I think that's about the size of it. Take a Steward in the opening. Not totally sure what they're going with it. I think probably just Sage for sifting to the Steward and finding it consistently. Could conceivably be double Steward actually. Might also be worthwhile. Potentially trash 4. Yeah, I think I like double Steward. I'm thinking about it. So one of the big downsides with cards that trash exactly 2, like Steward and Remake, is you usually end up with 2 money left over. So there are better openers than Kingdoms with good 2s. Squire here is only okay, but the one thing Squire does is let you play additional Stewards. And so I think that justifies adding a second Steward to the deck, because I can freely add Squires on these turns. This is exactly what I would want. I mean, ideally I'd trash 3 estates, but getting to play 1 Steward each turn is definitely among the best possible outcomes for turn 3 and 4. Alright, so getting pretty thin pretty fast. Going to want to, oh, no, didn't want to find the other Steward. Fine, be that way. So I want to replace soon, a Tunnel at some point, a Cartographer. If I had Estate still left on the deck, I would replace into Tunnel to give out a curse, but I don't. Could always get it replaced by trashing Squires, is something that could come up. I'll take Cartographer first, and then replace. Think a free silver is better than nothing. Not looking to maintain deck control over the long term. Gain silver. I think I could take the Tunnel already. I don't have a way to discard it if it ends up in my hand, but it can potentially get hit by the Cartographer. Maybe Oasis first is better on account of the Tunnel's only valuable if it's on top when I play a Cartographer and is getting in the way otherwise. Like the Oasis now. 2 buys. Replace Squire, replace nothing, Tunnel, Scheme. I think I like that last one. Reveal a Tunnel, please. Huzzah. And I'm probably trying to trash the last 2 coppers here. Mission accomplished. All right. Next order of business will be acquiring a replace. Unfortunately, my Tunnel is in the hand. replace and the second cartographer. And I think this is about as much building as my deck actually needs to do. Given that, again, you can't get a larger hand size, so there's not much value in adding more stuff. I think it'd be fine greening potentially as soon as next turn. Goodbye, tunnel. What am I doing here? I don't necessarily want to trigger that shuffle, now that I think about it. It could turn out fine. I have two schemes. I can top deck two cartographers, which means it can't go too badly. If I draw the tunnel, I'm very happy. The trouble I would have, though, is if I draw any of the other three cards down there, I end up top decking the tunnel with the hand of two cartographers, and the cartographers then cannot discard it. I could just replace Oasis into a third cartographer and buy a province, or even a second replace. I don't think my deck can support two replaces, probably. I could always do like Squire into something and then gain a free replace. I think Oasis into, or what about Oasis into Duchy? It's points. This is going to be big money versus big money, so Duchies are decent. Gives out a curse. I think I've talked myself into giving out a Duchy. Or giving me a Duchy. Giving out a curse. The tunnel has snuck its way into my hand anyway. I think I'd be happy. So if I just draw the replace and the gold, I can replace the tunnel, the Duchy curse, by a province. If I draw the Squire and the Steward and use those to draw these two, that only gets me to 7. If I could line up 2 pairs of Squire Steward, I could then replace gold in a province and buy a second province, which sounds nice. But I think I'd rather just leave those on top. There we go. I might need to reacquire tunnel at some point. I don't know if I have enough gold to last me for the long term. But like, this isn't a kingdom that requires a lot of longevity. If your deck starts to fall apart, you can always replace province into province in endgame to hasten the end of the game. So if I only have a few golds, that's fine. Rather prioritize immediate benefit. Maybe I should have played that cartographer earlier than I did. I thought I had 2 stewards. Did I make that up? Oh, it was 2 squires, a steward, and a scheme. For some reason, I interpreted that as 2 squires and 2 stewards and got confused. Yeah, I have misplayed this turn, and I'm pretty sure it's entirely my doing. Yeah, I think just a Dutchin. So it looks like the bot's doing something pretty similar, but with a grave robber. Spicy. I can see grave robber being decent. The bot also went for more replaces. So if you have multiple replaces in the deck, they're potentially a decent grave robber target. Grave robber can turn replace into province. What can I get back from the trash? You could steal my tunnel. There could be golds in the trash that could gain. I don't know that I want a grave robber, but like, it doesn't seem terrible here. I can see the rationale. Good job, cartographer. Do I value that silver? It gets me to 5. I think I'd rather take the chance of finding a steward. Okay, well, given this hand, I think I'm gonna regain that tunnel and just buy a province. Schema replace. Draft. If I found even like a province or a gold in this hand, would be game. The bot gets one more turn. Never mind. The bot falls on its sword. Yeah, it's hard to come back from behind when you're both playing big money. You're only scoring so many points per turn. Bot ends up with more curses. It looks like we're doing similar stuff. Cartographer replaced. Did the bot ever have a tunnel? Curious. Okay, well this seems like a pretty glaring omission to me from the bot's deck. The 2 tunnels that were gained were both mine, and the bot's got a bunch of cartographers. So I think probably the lack of tunnel is an operative difference here. Replace makes sense, steward makes sense. Grave robber, I don't believe in it, but I mean like it's not ridiculous to take grave robber here, I don't think. And maybe a few too many squires. 4 squires for 1 steward and 2 replaces seems like a bit much. So I don't think this is quite right, but it's in the right vicinity.